Coming up next on the IP Talk stage, Steve Erickson from Open Silicon presenting Open Silicon IP.
So Open Silicon traditionally has been known for a service company. Originally started out as physical design, then on to production, and in the last few years developed a lot of front-end design, architecture, EVS systems. But one thing that we've not been known for is our IP. We currently source a tremendous amount of IP for our customers to provide a total solution when we do ASICs. But also what we do is we develop differentiated IP, because we strongly believe that in order to keep the ecosystem of semiconductors going and the markets from declining, that each and every product that is produced has to be differentiated in some way. So our goal as a company is to continue to strive and bring to market IP, either internally developed or through partners that can help differentiate ASICs. So Open Silicon has been in the IP business for a long time, whether or not anybody knows about it or not. We're the #1 provider of interlocking in the world. We've been doing this for probably 4 or 5 years. We've licensed many different companies. But we're also the first provider of HMC controller IP. We announced yesterday the availability of our IP, working with Micron and the HMC consortium on bringing that new technology to market. Our #1 goal, as I mentioned, is to provide customizable differentiated IP. So we also have many SoC platforms, whether it be ARM or MCU-based platforms. And we provide this and develop this IP so that it's strategic and synergistic to our customers. We don't necessarily go out and just develop IP for the IP's sake. We take into account what our customers come to us with, and we try to make sure that we keep into account the need for them to differentiate their solutions. If they don't differentiate their products, then they will not be able to sell their products, and we then again, as we go down the value chain, will not be able to provide IP. So that is definitely our #1 vision and what our value proposition is with regards to IP. So with regards to interlocking controller IP, as I mentioned, we've sold over 35 different licenses to the tier 1s of the world in the networking space. I have very deep experience in this area. We're a founding member of the Alliance back in 1997. And our solution is very highly predictable and stable. And it's also the most feature-rich, and we continue to evolve our interlocking cores. We've just announced recently that we now have a 600 gig core to enable the latest generation of networking. And as we go forward, as we look at terabit, we'll continue to evolve with interlocking. But the #1 thing about interlocking, which is kind of the cornerstone of our philosophy, is that it's configurable, and every implementation we do for every single customer is different. And that allows them, within the particular vertical that they play in, to have a differentiation that they can differentiate against everybody else. If we provided the same one to everybody, then I think that it would be difficult for each of them to be able to compete with each other and not have that extra value, which I think is very important. On the HMC controller IP, you know, as the idea of 3D chips and memories is a very hot topic today, the evolution of this, the first provider, Micron, and through the consortium with others like Samsung, Xilinx, Altera, and Open Silicon, we've used this as a mechanism to bring new technology to market, but we've really leveraged upon our experience that we've had with interlocking. And we take the same approach to this technology. It's configurable. Every implementation is going to be slightly different for each customer, and we've built our organization to make sure that we can support that efficiently to be able to bring that to market in a very expedient manner. This will be the first generation, and there'll be many generations to come as the consortium defines the specifications and new features and so forth are added. And it's feature-rich, and it's flexible. Everything you see us do will be based upon that premise. So our goal as we continue to grow our IP portfolio and work forward is we will only really focus on high performance, highly configurable IP that is specifically targeted at certain verticals. The networking, telecom, storage, computing space is where the core of our customer base is, and that's where we will continue to focus. As I mentioned, we have interlock and HMC, SoC platforms that are highly configurable. you know, anybody can, a lot of companies can do SoCs, but I think in order to get that extra performance and differentiation in the thing, the configurability aspect is very, very important. And that's really where, you know, again, I said we put most of our emphasis. We always work with our customers. We don't ever say, here, take it or leave it. So we like to co-develop. We like to make sure we keep what they have in mind. And for those instances where we do not have the expertise to develop IP internally, we work with our partners in enabling IPs to also bring those to our customers to provide a complete solution. So we develop our own stuff internally, but we also work with those partners, like I said, that have specific technologies in our target verticals. But those companies that we work with, our criteria is that it has to be something that's customizable that allows our customers to differentiate. If you want a standard piece of IP, we can source that for you. But really where we focus is in that customizable type of IP. So our goals are to build stronger relationships to enable differentiation, have strategic alignments. We develop certain IP where we have core expertise, but where we don't, we also have partnerships that we continue to develop and build that ecosystem of partners to make sure that we can also bring that to market. There's a lot of small companies around the world that Open Silicon facilitates their ability to bring their technology to market and make it available where it may not necessarily be known. And we take on a lot of the ownership of the support and the integration of that IP. So we bring our expertise and value in that. Yeah. On the interlocking, we do not today, but on the HMC, we will. And a lot of our SoC platforms have verification models. Yeah. So really, in summary, kind of what Open Silicon's about from an IP perspective is we're not only a physical design company, we're not only an EVS company, we're not only an operations company, but we're also an IP provider for differentiated IP. IP that needs to be configurable, that needs to be customized to a particular application, and has the highest performance. And we do this not only with our own internal development and our own internal expertise, but we also do this through partners and taking on the onus to make sure that the support for our ASIC customers or our licensees is the highest it can be, utilizing our expertise and our experience of doing this many, many times. So that's kind of the 10-minute blurb on Open Silicon IP. So is there any questions I can answer? So. Okay. Makes all sense. Everybody's willing, like, yep, no problem, great, let's come, let's buy it. Yes. Yes and yes. So in some cases, within the internal architecture of the chip, they have the requirement for different bus interfaces or different I/O, bandwidth and so forth. And so we'll customize based upon that so they can optimize the performance of whatever they're doing inside their chip to meet their needs. That's one example. That's one example. But on the other hand, there are a couple customers that we work with strategically where there are features that we may not have in our core that we need to add. For instance, in the interlocking side, the addition of a retransmit function was a specific requirement from 2 or 3 of our customers. So we've worked with them on how to implement that to meet their needs. And then we'll work with them over a period of time to roll that out. So that's the example of both. Yep.
Do you have any automatic tools for supporting the customization of the APs towards the customer needs?
So in the area of build configurations, we develop our own internal tools to automate that process to make it so that it's not a complete burden, so that we don't have to go in and change the RTL every time we want to customize. And the tools build those configurations for us. It takes a day or two to do that. A customer gives us we basically have a parameter document or whatever that they say, I want this, this, and this. Then we can build it to that specific config. And then we run automated regressions against that we've set up over and modified and so forth over time. So the answer is yes. Otherwise, we would be unable to manage the support burden. So we focus a lot on that as well. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you very much for your attention.